Good evening and welcome to our October Committee of the Whole meeting. The Board of Trustees of Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a Committee of the Whole meeting on Monday, October 9th, 2017 in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center, 10300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas at 6 p.m. for the purpose of reviewing that portion of a Thursday, October 12th, 2017 school board agenda designated as action items and to hear designated reports and recognitions posted in the meeting notice as required by Texas law. No action will be taken at this meeting. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve any concerns or issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are airing live on CFTV Channel 16 and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that your cell phones are turned off or are in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I'd like to recognize our attendees from the Community Leadership Committee, and I believe we have one. Julie Heineman, will you stand up so we can recognize you and thank you for your work for the district. We also have a Boy Scout with us today. We're always delighted to see Boy Scouts with us. Unch Raval, Troop 277, is working on his citizenship badge. Let's give him a round of applause. We are so glad you are here. And you picked a great meeting because this is our work session, and it's going to be a little bit shorter. So you did great, Mr. Raval. All right, we are going to have a public hearing on Thursday, October 12th. And that will be on the district schools' first accountability rating. We'll have that on Thursday. We do have one special recognition that will be part of tonight, but the majority of our recognitions will be on Thursday. Item 2B will be presented tonight, and that is the board will recognize Cindy Madison for receiving the 2017 Heroes for Children Award from the State Board of Education. And Leslie Francis will correct my pronunciation and introduce Ms. Madsen.
Thank you. President Mangoya, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. Tonight I'm proud to present to you Cindy Madison. Cindy was one of 15 winners recognized in Austin last month for receiving the State Board of Education's Heroes for Children Award. Heroes for Children honorees are selected for their exemplary dedication in volunteering their time, talents, and skills to help improve public schools in their communities. And I believe there's a picture on the screen showing you Cindy among the other state award winners. Over the past several years, Cindy has chaired the Staff Appreciation Committee at Cy-Fair High School even after her only son graduated. Not only did Cindy coordinate a team to provide lunches and mailbox treats for Cy-Fair staff, but with her infectious enthusiasm also provided lunches, pumpkin pies, and mailbox treats to 19 other campuses last year alone. Wow. As if that isn't enough, Cindy mentors students at 5 different campuses, as well as serving on the district's VIPS executive board. If Cindy's name is familiar to you, it is because she has won the Global Volunteer Award twice in recent years at the VIPS Appreciation event and was recently featured as one of our CFISD community cheerleaders. In her spare time, Cindy volunteers with Cy Hope and the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Cindy, would you please come forward? Cindy's husband and friends, if you're here, if you could stand so that we could recognize you. Thank you, Cindy, for going above and beyond to support the students and staff at so many of our schools. You're very deserving of this recognition from the Texas Education Agency.
Thank you very much. That's an amazing record of service. Thank you so much for all you do for our students. We really appreciate it. We'll move to our reports portion of our agenda, but I'm going to tell you that most of these reports, in fact, all of them, will be on Thursday. On Thursday, we'll hear an oral report on the start of the school year. We'll also have an oral report on the bond program, and we will be provided a report on the pre-kindergarten partnership planning grant between Cy-Fair ISD and Kids Are Kids 8, a Texas Rising Star. And we'll hear all of those on Thursday. We're going to review some of our action items and decide which of those can be moved to consensus, but we're going to start with the ones that are already on consensus. 6A, the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Are there any questions on this item? Seeing none, may that stay on consensus, everyone? All right, that will stay on consensus. B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the September 1st, 2017 emergency meeting. Any questions on this item? May that stay on consensus, everyone? Great, that can stay on consensus. And the board will consider approving the minutes of the September 11th, 2017 regular meeting. Any questions on this? Seeing none, does everyone feel comfortable with this staying on consensus? Okay, great. Well, let's move to those items that we could perhaps move to consensus. 7A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and/or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. 1, automotive technology e-books and textbooks. 2, automotive lubricants. 3, charter bus and travel services. 4, cosmetology equipment and supplies. 5, print cartridges, OEM, remanufactured or compatible. 6, RFID cards. 7, tree trimming and removal. Those are all the items on that under A. Does anyone have any questions on that? Does everyone feel comfortable moving that to consensus? All right, great. 7A will be moved to consensus. B, the board will consider approving and submitting to the Commissioner of Education a request for maximum class size waiver. Any questions on this item for Dr. Stewart? I'm going to start with Mr. Jackson.
Dr. Stewart, thank you for giving us comparative data and as well as complete information by school. I know when I was with others in the CLC, we collectively pushed hard to have legislation enacted to permit waivers K through 4 because we saw the efficiency that could result. But as a trustee, I feel the other side of that blade. All swords have two sides. So a series of questions for you. First, is there any way of knowing which of the 3 potential reasons caused the waiver request?
Absolutely. The majority of our waivers, if not all of them, are for unanticipated growth. We have surpassed our projected enrollment, and so therefore those classes are a little larger than we anticipated.
In terms of unanticipated growth, Harvey came to town, and I know a number of districts actually have a reduction in enrollment. Have we seen an increase in enrollment K through 12 or merely in the elementary levels?
So I would say overall, our district enrollment has increased in elementary, middle, and high. And to, equate that to Harvey or Irma, we're not quite sure. We are still analyzing the homeless/weather event data, but the enrollment has increased across the board.
Thank you. When you look at the data by school, and there's one particular school in question, there's 2 grades where it's very close to needing another teacher, one at the 3rd grade level, one at the 4th grade level. But when you look at the other data, there's others not as close, but clearly could be there if we have the type of growth we typically have after the start of the school year. So please discuss, how do we monitor this? Do we interact with the principals, or is this fixed for the rest of the school year?
No, it's never a done deal. So we monitor the daily student enrollment, daily. We look at that, and principals are really good about giving us a call and say, look at my numbers, they are over what I can manage. And so it's an ongoing process. There becomes a time in the year, though, that those numbers may be somewhat larger than we would like, but being able to find a qualified teacher or determining which student would you move to another class becomes difficult for the students and the parents and the teachers. So, but it is an ongoing process of monitoring that enrollment data.
Thank you. Those are very complete answers.
Thank you.
Ms. Hartley?
Oh, well, I'll just kind of tack on a little bit, because I was thinking about that sometimes, you have your teacher who is a veteran who can handle more students than the new teacher who you don't want to overwhelm. And so I was thinking that some of that might come into play with different classrooms having different numbers. But I also wanted to just comment on, the other day I was talking with someone or listening to someone speak about it, that right now people are still kind of in their temporary housing, that they haven't, some of them haven't figured out exactly where they're going to be in 3 months. And probably in 3 months we might have a shift in, we might have a decrease in some of these classrooms. So that's something that we'll have to look at then. And it's like you said, why would, you don't want to move a student right now who's gotten close to that teacher and acclimated to that classroom, especially after the storm. So this would be, I think it's good to do this, and I know that you guys are going to stay on top of it and keep analyzing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Questions? Did I miss a question? Okay. Does everyone feel comfortable with moving that to consensus? All right.
Thank you.
So B will be in consensus. C, the board will consider approving a request for the Texas Education Agency missed school day waiver for the instructional days missed related to Hurricane Harvey. And I understand that Dr. Macias is going to give us a brief presentation.
Yes, just a quick overview of what this waiver is about. In response to the effects of Hurricane Harvey, per the Commissioner of Education, Commissioner Morath, and the Texas Education Agency, any district that was in the 58-county disaster declaration area, which includes Harris County, and were forced to close schools due to the extreme weather and flooding, are eligible to apply for a missed school day waiver for any instructional days that were missed between August 28th of 2017 to Friday, September 1st, 2017, and also from September 5th, 2017 to Friday, September 8th, 2017. Monday, September 4th was a holiday. It was Labor Day, so that's why that day is not included in there. So this equals a total of a possible 9 instructional days. With this waiver, districts will not have to make up the missed days or adjust their school calendar. So this agenda item requests that the board approve that the administration apply for the missed day waivers for the 9 instructional days that were missed as a result of the hurricane. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? Mr. Jackson?
We've already discussed this in prior meetings, but I think it makes sense to bring it up again. With the granting of the waivers, will the total minutes of class time still satisfy the state requirement?
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Are there any other questions? Would everyone feel comfortable moving this to the consensus agenda? Great. So 7C can also go to consensus. D, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, GE local relations with parent organizations. That's a revision, and that is the only item. Any questions on this item? Does everyone feel comfortable moving this to consensus? Mr. Jackson? D will be moved to consensus also. E, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, CJ local contracted services. That's an addition. Any questions on this item? Everybody feel comfortable with this moving to consensus? Great. E will also move to consensus. F, the board will consider approving construction proposals and contracts paid from bond funds to the recommended contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. 1, 2017, Alt and Hancock Elementary School additions and revisions. This is about a $9 million contract. Any questions on this item? Mr. Jackson?
Question and a comment. I would prefer that this be split off separately. And the question, did we have any flooding or water infiltration or mud infiltration on either of these two campuses?
We had some very minor water infiltration underneath doors at both of these campuses that our operations department was able to clean up. So there's no mitigation work that's included in this contract, nor is it needed.
Thank you.
Any other questions on that? Okay, that item will remain on the non-consensus agenda. G, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contract related to the following project. 1, 2017 Alton Hancock Elementary School additions and renovations. Any questions on that item? Any? Would you also like that to be on a separate? Yeah, I think it should be too. All right, so F and G will be on non-consensus. The superintendent's briefing will be presented on Thursday evening, so that leaves us one item, which is our training session. Annually, this board has a team of 8 training, and we're referred to as a team of 8 because the superintendent and 7 more board members work on many, many issues. And our team of 8 training is tonight. In accordance with the provisions of the Texas Education Code, Section 11.159, the board will receive continuing education for board members under the Texas Administrative Code, Title 19, Section 61.1, related to team building. And this will be in closed session. May I have a motion to go into closed session? So moved. We have Mr. Covey motioning and Ms. Blackshear seconding. All those that are, any discussion on that item? Excuse me for not calling for discussion. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously, and we will see everyone on Thursday, and we'll have, I think, a little bit longer meeting. Thank you very much.